One of the longest running questions on this channel is who exactly is Master Xehanort'S master? Ever since we got Kingdom Hearts 2.8, I was pretty sure it was going to be Luxu himself, although now it does seem like the possibility is stronger than ever for it to be either Luxu or the Master of Masters, and I'm going to explain why. See, Tetsu Nomura said in an interview talking about the secret ending for Kingdom Hearts 3 that only the Master of Masters and his playful nature would lead to him making a gesture such as making a heart shape with his hands and holding it up to the moon to simulate Kingdom Hearts. Only he would be, that kind of person to do that as far as the characters are concerned within the series. However, we do know that Xigbar, or Luxu as we now know him to be, is also that kind of playful. He does gestures with his hands and he's also like kind of cunning and stuff like that. So it kind of does put us in that exact same position again, in which of course it's like, damn, this person acts just like the Master of Masters, but is it really the Master of Masters? Kind of the same way how we were left with, of course, Kingdom Hearts 2.8's trailers, in which of course we saw all of the different characters and then we saw the Master of Masters. And I was one of the people who believed that the Master of Masters in the 2.8 trailers was actually Luxu. And then of course there was the group of people who was like, no, it's definitely the Master of Masters. And then of course he had the little medallion on his zipper, which they added out of nowhere, and now everybody wears that same fucking medallion. And then of course they added that out of nowhere, and now of course it's like you can't really distinguish between the two once they're wearing the black coats with the hoods on. But even now, like Xigbar even has the height now, I think, to even be mistaken for the Master of Masters. Of course, the Master of Masters seems to tower above like many motherfuckers, seeing as he's even still taller than Ira, which is one of the tallest characters within the series. I mean, like, after the Master of Masters, no one is taller than Ira, which, damn. But it's kind of weird how, of course, now we're in a situation to where we're kind of in the exact same boat, but it's because of the fact that Luxu has been revealed to be Xigbar. So let me go ahead and read you guys a little bit of a quote from an interview with Famitsu about Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind's trailer back when it released back in June, in which, of course, Nomura was asked about the characters within the scene between young Xehanort and whoever this figure is. So it says, then the scene with the Master of Masters and young Xehanort, as well as that of Luxord and Xigbar, must also be from the additional scenario. Nomura says, that's right. The conversation between Luxord and Xigbar will take place at the beginning of the additional scenario. We're referring to it as an additional scenario because there are quite a lot of cutscenes. The scenario was rewritten twice and it grew substantially by the final draft. The sheer volume exceeded our expectations. So, with that being said, of course, what he's saying here is that apparently the Master of Masters and young Xehanort are the two characters within the Keyblade Graveyard. Now, here's the interesting part about it, because there's already a retcon within, of course, this trailer itself, because young Xehanort does mention when he went on his journey within his original reports within Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. However, when he mentions his journey then, he talks about the Keyblade armor that you get to see within Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep itself, and the same armor that, of course, Xemnas would go on to wear by the time the events of Kingdom Hearts 2 come to pass. So, if he mentions that armor within Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, why is it that now, of course, young Xehanort is wearing the black coat? And we notice to be the exact same point in time because young Xehanort says specifically that the armor that their master, Ericus and himself, their master had given to them, of course, was meant to protect them from the darkness. This is exactly what is mentioned within the Kingdom Hearts Remind trailer, in which he says, does coat dwarfs off darkness, it's useful. Or he says it's useful, it dwarfs off darkness or something like that. And then the Master of Masters, apparently, if that's who it is, says that, of course, yeah, see, like, I told you it would be, like, kind of useful. He says something along those lines. And it's like, if it's the Master of Masters that's Xehanort's master, then does Xehanort now have two masters, and one of them is one that, of course, Ericus does not know about, or did young Xehanort receive special training from their master? Now, it is kind of interesting to say because we never got to see their master. And the reason why we've never got to see their master, I don't believe, was because it was the Master of Masters this whole time, but rather that they didn't have an idea of who their master would be. Now, when the Master of Masters disappears within the past, of course, it can be assumed that he did make his way all the way here. Although, with him being in the same place as Sora by the end of Kingdom Hearts 3's secret ending, how in the hell would it be that he was alive to train Xehanort and then also he was dead by the time Sora came around? It kind of makes me think that the Master of Masters may have some kind of ability that plays around with the concept of life and death itself, in which, of course, he may be able to jump between the two lanes, or maybe he's just that powerful that he may be, I think, is omnipotent. And of course, he may be able to just do stuff like that, like randomly just decide to kill himself off and go to the land of the dead, and then, of course, come all the way back to the land of the living. It could be possible that he does stuff like that, or maybe it's something to where he preserves his body through time by allowing himself to die and then returns at some point in the future. You see, it's said by Luciu within the secret reports that of Kingdom Hearts 3, it's said by Luciu that the summoning of Kingdom Hearts by the Keyblade wielder of darkness, which is Xehanort, will lead to the return of the Master of Masters. So if the return of the Master of Masters is dependent on the summoning of Kingdom Hearts by the Keyblade wielder of the dark, then why is it that he's here now? And apparently Luciu never had any knowledge of this. Now, it could be that this is why the Master of Masters forbidded Luciu from carrying a book of prophecies. I think that that's a huge possibility, because if the Master of Masters was trying to lay low so that way his plans continue to unfold the way that they're supposed to by having the knowledge of the book of prophecies himself, he knows exactly what would happen should, of course, Luciu take a book of prophecies. And he does even mention himself that he doesn't want any time paradoxes to happen by giving Luciu a book of prophecies, so he doesn't get one. It could be that that was how things unfolded. Also, it is mentioned by young Xehanort that he realized his purpose in the world through the little journey that he takes to see the world. So this could be why we have Xehanort as the character that he is by the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, his head being filled by the Master of Masters, that the role of the carrier of the no-name is to purify the world rather than just to simply observe it. Because, of course, if the Master of Masters may potentially have some connection to the powers of life and death itself, then it could be possible that, of course, by summoning Kingdom Hearts, that's how he's able to go from being dead to being alive again. And it could be that when the Keyblade War happened, the opening of Kingdom Hearts by, of course, the summoning of Kingdom Hearts by, of course, all of the Keyblade wielders that lost their hearts within the Keyblade Graveyard, which brought it down from the it didn't bring it down from the Great Darkness, but that got it swallowed up by the Great Darkness originally. It could be that through that, he's able to transition between life and death. And by the summoning of Kingdom Hearts, although he was there by the time Sora made it there, it could be possible that, of course, the Master of Masters, and the reason why he shapes his hands in that shape is because he sensed that Kingdom Hearts was finally opened by the Keyblade wielder of the dark, or the Keyblade wielder of darkness, as mentioned by Luciu. It is also mentioned in, of course, young Xehanort's reports within the Kingdom Hearts 3 reports that he was sent off on a mission to observe the world, to see the world, and he left Ericus behind to go and fulfill that mission. So let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think that this little information from Tetsuya Nomura when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, how the question was asked, then the scenes with the Master of Masters and young Xehanort, and then Nomura, because Nomura, trust me, Nomura is damn good when it comes to correcting whether or not something is being interpreted correctly or whether or not someone is guessing something the right way. Of course, he's damn good with correcting people when it comes to that. I haven't seen an interview yet to where he says yes to something and, of course, it isn't confirmed. Now, we did have that one situation before Kingdom Hearts 3 released to where people misinterpreted what he said, but that's not the same thing as him not correcting someone who asked him a question and the question wasn't with the most accurate information or wasn't accurately asked, or the question being asked wasn't thought about like accurately to the point that he didn't need to correct them. he has always been like, on his P's and Q's when it came to correcting people with questions. But here he just says, that's right, the conversation between Luxord and Zigbar will take place at the beginning of the additional scenario. We're referring to it as an additional scenario because there are quite a lot of cutscenes, etc., etc. So it does seem like he is kind of confirming that that is the Master of Masters that is sitting with, of course, young Xehanort. So if that is the Master of Masters, let me know what you guys think about the future of the series when it comes to young Xehanort, what we may learn from Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind. And I think that this is why it is called Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind. Besides, of course, he did say that Remind and stuff like that. When the team sends him emails, they put like reminders. So that's what made him think to do Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind. But I do think that it does have something to do with potentially giving us more of a backstory towards Lushu, what he did during the time that he was alive when he used to switch bodies, why he's at the point that he is at now, to where it seems like he's finna lead the Foretellers into another confrontation with the 7 Guardians of Light, or however many members of Light there will be. It does seem like he's finna lead them into, of course, a battle with the 7 Guardian, or with the Guardians, I should say, because we don't know how many of them there's going to be. So this has been your boy Mozzie, and don't forget to do a little A-Class gaming, and everything you do, don't forget to keep it A-Class, and don't forget to share your thoughts below on what you think the Master of Masters goal with young Xehanort, or Xehanort in general, actually was. Do you think it was set up just to simply be able to return from the dead like I proposed, or do you think that, of course, his master, or the Master of Masters, I should say, more or less really did just want to train someone new, and this is what Xehanort did with that information? Let me know, and this has been your boy Mozzie. Don't forget to do a little A-Class gaming, and peace the heck out.